Welcome to Fantasia, home of the Melodious. My name's Azallea, and today gonna be bringing you guys another playtesting video. So this time we're gonna go ahead and use my Trickstar deck. So without any further ado, let's just jump right into this. So starting off, we are of course gonna go ahead and draw our 5 cards, and it looks like we have a copy of Candina, Ash Blossom, Nightshade, Scapegoat, and Solemn Strike, which is actually a very solid opening hand. So Trickstars have the thing where they are really modest in their plays that they make on their first turn. You don't really go out of your way to establish a gigantic field with 3 or 4 negations. That's not the way Trickstars play. Trickstars have a very confined engine in the form of Candina, Terraforming, and Light Stage, which allows them to have a ton of consistency in their plays, which means that you can always establish your same fields over and over, duel after duel, and match after match. So in this case, Candina went ahead and searched out a copy of Trickstar Light Stage, that confined engine that I was kind of referring to, where you have Terraforming, Light Stage, and Candina that can basically all search each other out. Then, using my Light Stage, I activated it and searched out a copy of Trickstar Lycoris, and then using Lycoris' effect in the hand, I bounced back my Candina from the field to the hand and special summon the Lycoris to my side of the field. Now I'm able to go ahead and set my Solemn Strike and Scapegoat and end my turn. Now, you don't have to bounce the Candina back to your hand immediately on your turn. You can always wait for your opponent's turn in order to do that. But for demonstration's sake and for my own playstyle's sake, I just bounced that Candina back to my hand. Now, as you can see in my hand, I still have a Candina, Nightshade, and Ash Blossom for next turn, and Nightshade's going to be fantastic for helping us go ahead and link climb into some of our Trickstar monsters, so that is always very good. So looking at our second opening hand here, we have a copy of Terraforming, Lycoris, Candina, Drone Lockbird, and Candina. So this can only really mean one thing, which means we're gonna handlock our opponent out of the duel, or at least potentially try to do that. So the way we do that is we're gonna go ahead and try to search out a copy of Reincarnation to go ahead and complement our Drone Lockbird. But first things first, we're gonna go ahead and activate our Terraforming to go ahead and search out for a copy of Trickstar Light Stage. Now Light Stage is gonna go ahead and help us grab another search for a Trickstar monster, which is very important because the fact that Candina's search is going to be used on grabbing our Reincarnation from the deck. So we're going to go ahead and normal summon our Candina, and then we can go ahead and search out a copy of a Trickstar Reincarnation, which in this case is proxied by this blank card that you see right here. But fortunately for us, Battles of Legend Light's Revenge actually has a reprint of Trickstar Reincarnation, so I should be able to pick up a few copies of my own very soon. So the next thing that I'm going to do is going to go ahead and activate my Trickstar Light Stage, and Light Stage is going to go ahead and help me search out for that copy of Lycoris that I couldn't with that Candina earlier because of course we used her search for the Reincarnation. So now this puts a second copy of Trickstar Lycoris in my hand, which is actually very powerful. In fact, 2 copies of Trickstar Lycoris with 1 copy of Trickstar Light Stage on the field actually inflicts 800 damage to your opponent during their draw phase, which is the reason why I'm going to go ahead and summon both of my Lycoris out to my side of the field while bouncing my Candina from the field back to my hand, so I can potentially use her on my next turn. So now all I have to do is gonna go ahead and set my Reincarnation to my side of the field, and as long as your opponent either draws a card from their deck through a card effect or searches a card from their deck and adds it to their hand, you can potentially just hand lock them with a Reincarnation and Droll, which we have in our hand alongside of our 2 Candinas, which we can use on our next turn for a few normal summons. So yeah, that basically concludes it for that opening hand. Very simple yet very effective, and if your opponent doesn't play around and respect that Reincarnation, they're going to be in for a big surprise. So let's take a look at our third opening hand, in which case we open with Storming Mirror Force, Monster Reborn, Trickstar Lycoris, Scapegoat, and Trickstar Candina. Again, this is one of those hands that is very solid because the fact that we opened with Candina and we have a few options to go for. So we're going to go ahead and normal summon our Trickstar Candina, and Candina is going to go ahead and search out a Trickstar card from our deck and add it to our hand. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and search out a copy of Trickstar Reincarnation for some disruption. So now adding that to my hand, I pretty much have a very simple follow-up play, which is basically just setting some Backrow to my side of the field, which includes my Reincarnation, as well as my Scapegoat and Storming Mirror Force. Scapegoat, of course, is a very powerful card in Trickstars because it allows you to go into a lot of combos, especially with cards like Nightmares, or even potentially get some beat sticks on the field in the form of Mrs. Radiant, Link Spiders, and etc. So we also have a copy of Trickstar Lycoris and Monster Reborn left in our hand, and Monster Reborn is going to be great for reviving some of our Nightmare cards if we use them to go ahead and potentially link climb into something better. Okay, so now taking a look at our next opening hand, we have a copy of Trickstar Lilybell, Trickstar Reincarnation, Drone Lockbird, Terraforming, and a second copy of Trickstar Reincarnation. So yeah, this opening hand is already looking pretty decent, especially because of the fact that Terraforming makes up for the fact that we have a lack of good monsters in our hand. So the copy of Terraforming is going to go ahead and be used to go ahead and search a copy of Trickstar Light Stage. Now I know we play a copy of Trickstar Light Arena in the deck, and that Light Arena is actually really good on subsequent turns after you've established your main field and have enough monsters in circulation to potentially go for a bunch of link summons. But other than that, there's no real reason to go ahead and search out something like Light Arena on your first turn when Light Stage is much better for searching out combo pieces like Candina that can be reused over and over. So the earlier you go ahead and search out your Candina and get her into circulation with your Lycoris, the better it will be. So I'm going to go ahead and use that Candina that I just searched out with my Light Stage, and I'm going to go ahead and normal summon her to my side of the field. And now Candina can go ahead and search out a copy of Trickstar Lycoris from my deck and add it to my hand. There is no reason to go ahead and search out something like Reincarnation because we already have 2 copies of it in our hand, and Reincarnation is going to be really good on the subsequent turns because the fact that Lycoris is very likely to get destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard. Trickstar Reincarnation has that graveyard revival effect where you can just banish it from your graveyard, target a Trickstar monster in your graveyard, and special summon it to your side of the field. So setting our 2 copies of Reincarnation down, I can pretty much safely end my turn at this point. Now the reason why I didn't go ahead and use my Lycoris' effect in this case is because the fact that I only had 1 copy in my hand, so there's no real rush to go ahead and get her to my side of the field. If you had 2 Lycoris, it would probably be better, so you can inflict that 800 burn damage to your opponent on their draw phase, but 400 in that case wasn't very necessary. So in this opening hand, we opened with a copy of Candina, Lycoris, Narcissus, Reincarnation, and Light Stage, so it's a full hand of Trickstar monsters. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and activate my Trickstar Light Stage to go ahead and go for a search. Now, the monster I'm going to search for in this case is actually going to be a copy of Trickstar Lilybell, which is quite strange to some of you because you might be thinking, well, Lilybell is really useful when you can conduct your battle phase and attack, but not really useful in other ways, right? Well, you're wrong, because the fact that Lilybell can go ahead and special summon herself out from the hand, and then be an extra body on our side of the field to use as well link material. So I'm going to go ahead and summon my Trickstar Candina next, and I'm going to use her effect to go ahead and search out another copy of Trickstar Lycoris. So now we have 2 copies of her in our hand. And now you probably guess what would be happening next. We're going to go ahead and activate both of our Trickstar Lycoris on the field, and we're going to go ahead and target our Trickstar Candina. We can go ahead and bounce our Trickstar Candina from our field back to our hand to summon both copies of Trickstar Lycoris onto our side of the field. This puts 3 monsters on our side of the field, so we can potentially go ahead and go for link summons. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Trickstar Lilybell and my Trickstar Lycoris to go ahead and link summon into my Trickstar Holly Angel. And the reason why I'm choosing Holly Angel here is because she protects the Trickstar monsters that she's pointing to by battle and by card effects, which is actually very strong. So my Lycoris that I summoned in the rightmost zone is going to be protected by battle and by card effects, which is very nice. I'm going to go ahead and set my Trickstar Reincarnation to my side of the field, and now I'm ending my turn with Candina and Narcissus in hand, keeping in mind that Narcissus, after my Lycoris inflicts burn damage to my opponent during her draw phase, can special summon herself out from the hand to my side of the field, and I'm going to summon her into the zone that the other arrow that Holly Angel has points to, so she can also gain those protection effects, while also triggering Holly Angel's effect to burn our opponent. Alright guys, so in this opening hand, for our last opening hand, we have a copy of Candina, Lilybell, Light Stage, Drone Lockbird, and Solemn Strike. So of course, the first thing we're going to do with this hand is normal summon our Trickstar Candina and go for a search. Now the card that I'm going to search for is indeed going to be a copy of Trickstar Reincarnation, because we opened that Drone Lockbird alongside of her. And the Drone Lockbird and Reincarnation combo just puts the living fear in your opponent, and it makes them basically makes some very suboptimal plays in order to try to play around and respect your reincarnation. So of course, using that Trickstar Light Stage that we also had in our hand, we're going to go ahead and search for a Trickstar monster, in which case the best one to search for is going to be a copy of Trickstar Lycoris. Lycoris and Candina are basically best friends because Lycoris can help recycle Candina, and Candina for the most part is able to search her out from the deck whenever needed. So now I'm going to go ahead and set my Solemn Strike and my Trickstar Reincarnation to my side of the field, and if your opponent doesn't have Twin Twisters or possibly is playing Mystical Space Typhoon or Cosmic Cyclone, good luck with that 50-50% chance of hitting it, right? So the other cards in our hand are going to be a copy of Lycoris, Lilybell, and Drone Lockbird, the Drone Lockbird being that hand trap that combos well with Reincarnation, and Lycoris to help special summon out by bouncing my Candina from the field back to my hand, and Lilybell is great for normal summon on our next turn if for some reason our Lycoris gets destroyed by battle by card effect and sent to the graveyard. We can go ahead and add her from the graveyard back to the hand. But anyway guys, that does it for these playtesting hands. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please leave a like, subscribe for more Trickstar content, and leave a comment down below letting me know what I can do to improve. And until next time, take care.